Goat Clover. Pink Clover. Is this the new weekly routine? Has this been Tabata's master plan all along? Because I am here for it. Black Clover Chapter 366, titled Star of the Show, is a goddamn masterpiece. Going back in time just a little bit, we have Ryuya making use of his all-seeing eye and finally noticing the opportunity they have all been waiting for finally come to fruition. Just then, he shouted out to Asta that his friends will be coming to pick him up very soon, and Asta was more than ready to make his way to the battle. From there, Yosuga and Ichika entered the room. Perfect timing too, since Asta was just about ready to leave. Dropping to his knees and lowering his head with Libe on his shoulder, Asta thanked them all for everything they had done for him. But before he could get a response, a tiny trans-dimensional blip appeared behind him. As it expanded, a familiar voice would emerge along with it, surprised to see that this is where the boy had been all along. It was Finral and Rouge. With an outstretched hand, he was here to pick Asta up. Asta was overjoyed to see his friend again. Ichika remained silent, but didn't seem all too happy to see Asta leave. Just then, Ryuya would call out to Finral and ask if he had space for one more person. Finral was a bit uncertain at first, but did admit that there was. But at the same time, he wondered who this person might be. Pointing to Ichika, the shogun claimed that she was going to join them. In their country, she was certainly one of the strongest and most skilled warriors they had. And this declaration came as a shock to the young Yami. Ichika immediately protested. She was unwilling to leave the shogun's side. But according to Yosuga, if they failed to defeat Lucius here and now, there would not be a Land of the Sun left to protect. And out of all of them, she had the greatest synergy with Asta. Yosuga proclaimed that he would protect the Land of the Sun and the shogun in her place, so she'd better go. Smiling at his young friend, Ryuya told Ichika to go and see her brother Yami. And he'd also tell her to make sure that she makes it back home alive. The Yami sibling reunion is one that I am really looking forward to. They're both hardasses, so I'm curious how exactly they'll be with each other. Especially given the fact that Ichika is so vastly different from the girl she was before, and of course, the major misunderstanding and tragedy that they share. Sibling reunions might just be the subtle theme going on here too. There's Ichika and Tsukahiro, Noct and Morgan, Noelle and her siblings, Lucius and the Dark Triad, and of course, Asta and Yuno. Captain Yami is no stranger to epic team-ups and combination magic, so I can only imagine how cool it will be to see him team up with his sister. The fate of the world itself was in their hands. With one final statement, Ryuya would tell Asta to go out there and defeat Lucius Socrates. As Ichika raced ahead of him towards a portal, Asta agreed to do exactly that. From there, the two sword wielders would grab hold of Finral and make their way through the magical doorway. I am a bit surprised to see that we are just leaving the rest of the Ryuzen 7 behind like this. Hopefully they can manage to show up at a later point or something. Otherwise, I'm not really sure why we needed so many of them. I did not expect Ryuya to tag along given his position, but I will definitely miss the guy. Besides Hino Country, there are plenty of other kingdoms in this series that have characters people care about like Mars or Lolopechka. But it's not like we have enough recognizable opponents to go around. And like how we had Leopold doing his thing against one of the Dark Triad's minions way back when, it's entirely possible that most fans won't really care. The scene they emerged from was a horrific one. Asta took the lead and placed his hand on Nero's head before stepping forward towards his opponent. The bodies of everyone that had fought so desperately to recover him were scattered across the field. This horrific sight saw the many mages left in bloody heaps, unable to move even a single inch. At this rate, death was a certainty for each and every one of them. Finral made his way to Nero and could not believe his eyes. Asta's expression was a grim one. The smile he had before was now completely gone. Kira brandished his sword before the flaw of the world, recognizing his presence. But it was a presence that had appeared too little, too late. Everyone had already perished before he could make his return. Asta's expression was unchanged, and he said nothing. Instead, he lifted his demon destroyer sword. With it, he completely nullified the ambient magic of the paladin's scale magic. From there, Finral made use of his spatial magic to relocate the injured. Asta had faith that there may still be a chance to save everyone. For that reason, he needed Finral to focus on treating everyone from behind him. Now, I'm not really sure what Finral is supposed to do here. Healing isn't exactly a part of his toolkit. But even still, Asta insisted on handling Lucius's pawn by his lonesome. Finral was shocked by this. Asta is strong, sure, but this guy laid out an entire country and guild. But Asta was beyond prepared to fight. And most of all, he wasn't going to lose again. Once that was all said, he continued to walk towards his enemy with balled fists. And is it just me, or does Libe keep disappearing and reappearing on Asta's shoulder? Kira recognized that his scale magic is worthless against someone who has no magical power at all. Because of this, he would instead make full use of his atmosphere magic, the purified supreme devil power of Baal that had been bestowed upon him by his master Lucius. He intended to finally pass judgment on Asta. And side note, I don't know if it's just the close-up or what, but this man Kira's fit looks hella goofy now that I take a good look at it. There is just no way that Lucius believes that this is what perfection looks like. The young black bull simply continued to walk forward, without so much as a swing of his sword. Asta's anti-magic rippled all around him. His movement was unimpeded, and he did not even blink. The paladin was in disbelief. Asta could even cancel the invisible attacks of his atmosphere magic. It was now clear that his power was evolving. Finral was shocked too. His friend had become even more adept at controlling and bending anti-magic to his own will. As he closed in on his target, Asta taunted him with a dark expression. Kira's almost invincible magic seemed to be a pretty bad matchup against his own. Now, Asta was really close to him. Kira shifted his stance. He was a paladin, a being of perfection crafted by Lucius Zogratis himself. He possesses immense magical power. His physical capabilities may be simple by comparison, but with the sword given to him by his master, he believed the defeat was an impossibility. Losing here was something that could not possibly happen. And I don't know what this man is thinking. He just got this sword like yesterday. Meanwhile, Asta has more swords than a blacksmith and has been using them for years. It's like stepping up to a champion fighter because you watched a couple of kung fu movies. Rushing towards him, Kira deemed Asta to be a sinner who had dared disturb the order of peace created by his master Lucius. He demanded that the boy die in the name of justice. Infuriated, Asta questioned what part of this man's actions represented peace and justice. His eyes gleaming with enraged power, Asta finally made his move. And with a single flash of light, the 10! He had cleaved into the paladin faster than he could even react and sent an oversized wing flying through the air. For everyone who said that Asta would one-shot this man last week, congratulations, you were right. He absolutely destroyed this dude with minimal effort. Now, admittedly, this was a pretty short chapter, but I do think the brevity gave it a bit more weight. The pacing of Asta's approach was executed perfectly, and his ability to handle this threat so quickly proved to be a great indicator of his newfound strength. Also, I hope you guys all realize that he did this in base. Asta did not transform. There was no devil union. This is his base power. He did what an entire queendom of witches and the overwhelming majority of his guild failed to do in his base form. And thematically, we also don't want to reveal too much of what Asta can really do, since his real fight is still yet to come. In Shonen, the latter portion of just about any given training arc is kept mysterious until the precise fruition of a new move or ability. Luffy during the time skip, Ichigo ahead of the Soul Society, Naruto with the Toads. It's a tried and true formula that continues to be used time and time again because it works so well. If nothing else, Tabata has a very firm understanding of shonen principles. And in a modern climate where alternative shonen has pretty much taken center stage, it's no wonder that Black Clover, despite lacking any sort of major boom of popularity, has managed to maintain its audience so well compared to many of its contemporaries. Something that really impresses me about this story is the fact that we are this late into the game, the final arc in fact, and things have not gotten to a point where the series is a far cry from its former self or anything of the sort. Characters have gotten stronger, new abilities have been unlocked and achieved, but it has never lost its identity as a series no matter how far we go. and that is extremely rare. Again, just take a look at some other popular shonen and it becomes all too clear. Naruto went from kunais being scary to pan-dimensional battles of fate against a moon goddess. One Piece is incredible, but there are plenty of people that prefer the pre-time skip adventures since the Straw Hats were a lot more of a focal point and things were much simpler. And for a lot of people, My Hero Academia fell off. Demon Slayer is one that is appreciated for its consistency, but that's certainly a big reason why it's so beloved. But then again, Black Clover has more than 100 chapters above that. We've got something really special going on here. And while we're on the subject, why do you enjoy this series? What about it has been able to maintain your interest in ways that others fail to? It's always a lot of fun to see how you guys are feeling about these sorts of things. Black Clover is on break next week, but here's hoping that when we do come back, Asta is able to get to the Clover Kingdom quickly, because I cannot wait to see Lucius's reaction to his sudden appearance. As always, I'm Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.